friends, family, deceased, welcome. So, I have made plenty of videos about weight gain in the past, but I'm going to make another one because it's importante. And I'm going to be talking about like expectations and also, not really expectations, but like the brutal process. That's not brutal. Everybody does it. It's just we do it in a different time. And this is coming from a perspective of, first of all, a woman. So, men, of course, suffer with eating disorders. There's no denying that. But my changes that I have experienced with my body are, female. Also, I was young when I started recovery. I was 18 when I started. And the weight gain happened between 18 and 19. And I started recovery right before my birthday, so barely 18 and then 19. So just we're orienting ourselves to where I am and what was happening at the time. So I started off very skinny because my anorexia took me to a very low weight, and then I gained 50 pounds, 60 in total. And of course, the weight goes to my stomach, and it went to my stomach first. And let's talk a little bit about redistribution because we expect the weight to go to the stomach because protecting organs and whatnot. With redistribution, it started going to interesting places. And first, it went to my boobs, and we're talking about titties right now, which is fine. Because I needed to know this. First of all, it is kind of painful. That is normal. The pain goes away. It's kind of like a toothache in your breast, if that makes sense. And you get stretch marks, and those are bright purple, but they go away and they become white. And just yeah, I got those on my hips too. I got them, yeah. So those are normal, completely normal, okay, and they will go away. And after that, it kind of went to the hips. And I was also 5'3" when I started recovery, and now I am 5'4". So I did gain an inch in not only diameter, but also in height. Um, diameter. Anyway, also, I would notice that I would get just random hip pain, and I think I don't super have wide hips, but I think they are less narrow than they used to be. So I think that there were some skeletal changes as well. And the weight stayed on in a weird distribution for a couple months. And although it was a slow changing process, I continued redistributing. Honestly, I would say still even to this day, but it's like different forms. So I'm going to walk you through those forms. So redistribution got me to have like a more curvy figure rather than more of like a toddler figure. Um, and with that came, okay, we're going to talk a little bit about beauty standards at this moment because for so long I was in this toddler body and I was really depressed by it. But like once I redistributed and I didn't really fix the mindset I had about my body, the things got to me. Like I learned about this thing called hip dips, and that really annoyed me. And I was like finding things to not be happy about. Like I was stoked that I wasn't what I was, and then all of a sudden I like had other things to be self-conscious about, which was super fun. And hip dips were one of that. I'm sure you'll find many a things to hate that nobody really cares about, and you should just revel in the fact that you redistributed, and that's something that I've come to terms with too. And I kind of like, I'm just like, that's ridiculous that I'm worried about the shape of my bone structure. Like, that's kind of dumb. But anyway, moving forward, so we covered muscle. Let's talk about muscle. I was talking about redistribution, so I think that the first is like initial just chipping away and just throwing fat different places, and then it's more of like refinement. And now I'm like I feel like I'm sticking with this. I'm sticking with what I have, and I'm happy with what I have. But also I'm gaining that muscle. That muscle is coming in hard, and it's partially because I do weight train. That is like the only type of training that I do. And with that, I've gained some serious muscle. And from the My Redistribution study, which had to do with men. I think they said within the first 2 years you gain all the fat back, and then you redistributed that, and then afterwards your body's good to like get the muscle. And I'll try and link that in the description. It's a very fascinating study. And I think other studies like coincided with that. So there's another one where they studied distribution patterns in women. So yeah, there's that. I'm going to rewind a little bit. My period came back around this 4-month point of starting unrestricted eating with unlimited rest. I remember that. My mom and I were in a little fight. It was like little, and then I just said, "I have my period," and she was like started sobbing and hugging. It was fun. It was a good time. Don't remember the fight. I just remember the seeping blood. But about that, um, at first your period is pretty light, and then it gets heavier, and then you're like, okay, this is what people complain about. So that happens, just so you know. But I have such a better viewpoint of my period. It's like something that I'm like proud that I got, like YOLO, like I did that, you know. So I was talking about muscles, and I feel like in like looking at this big picture, the main points I want you to get out of this is one, you're gonna come in. It's gonna happen in stages. Those stages are gonna feel very short, and they're gonna be dramatically different. Like the first one is like just fat everywhere, and then the second one is like refinement. Third one is like muscles, hair. Like my hair is back. And I broke a nail recently, because I'm an idiot. But like they're so much stronger. Like they don't peel off in layers as they did before. So we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty great. So don't lose hope. Oh, also you're gonna get self-conscious about stupid things, but I wish I had zoomed out on the big picture and just like, oh my gosh, like I I started from the bottom and now I'm here. But even if I had stayed, like I'm healthy. I like spontaneity. Who'd have thunk it when I cried if my lunch was 20 minutes late, or if I even had to eat lunch? Like, it's just fun. It's a process. It's a good process, kind of comical. And I hope this is of help. So I will toodle you later, alright? Yeah.